Hello and welcome. My name is Eunice Mathis. I'm the owner of Florida Training Academy. And in today's in today's workshop, I have the wonderful Neysa Jones, and she is the Vice President of Operations at Babcock Healthcare Education Services. She is a wonderful lady who has a wealth of knowledge. And Neysa, thank you for joining us today.
You are so welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, yes. And so, if you'll please introduce yourself to the others, to our viewers.
Sure. Like Eunice said, my name is Neysa Jones. I am the VP of Operations for Babcock Healthcare Education Services. It's a national training center. We'll talk about that a little later. But that's what I do. I handle a lot of roles in that capacity, and I'm glad to be here.
Yes, and I do appreciate you because I know how busy you are. I am just a little, microcosm of what you do, and I could not imagine. Someone asked her, like, well, Eunice, how do you do everything you do? How do you wear so many hats? And I explained to them, I have multiple compartments within that one hat. So I know if I have
Right.
a lot of roles, I can imagine how many you have. All right. And so, how long have you been with Babcock Healthcare now, Education Services?
I've probably been with Babcock almost since its inception, since the beginning, 30 plus years in one role or another. So that means I've done just about everything within the
That's a
company.
lot of
Mhm.
experience. And so, for those who don't know, can you tell us a little bit about Babcock? And just for short, you all, I won't be calling it Babcock Healthcare Educational
I know
Services.
it's a long
Just
name.
call it Babcock.
Sure. So Babcock, we are an American Heart Association national training center for the disciplines of ACLS, BLS, and PALS. And we also do instructor trainers. Our unique bend is that we are an entrepreneurial training center, meaning our affiliates are really those who want to come in and own their own businesses and operate their own businesses, as opposed to being associated with maybe a hospital entity. So that's what we do. We've been around forever. We started our founder is still with us. The namesake, Wilhelmina Babcock, and she started in Florida. That's where we started. But as we saw the need in Florida, and then we saw the need in other areas, we brought on some other team members who are just fantastic expanders of the vision. And so now we are nationwide and also international in some sense. So yeah,
Yes.
we're going there. We go where the need is. That's where we go.
Exactly. And I really appreciate your work because when people contact me about aligning, about affiliating, they want to be mentored and they may not be happy with the training site or the instructor they're with. And I don't always share my story and I won't go into detail here because it's your time. But sometimes you have to travel around, you have to figure out which training center is best for you. And so and I do apologize, there's lights behind me when I did stumble upon Babcock, because I had to phone a friend, who phoned a friend, and they're like, "Hey, it's this training center in West Florida that you want to contact." And to find out, because I already had a business and I added
Uh-huh.
the American Heart Association courses to a business that was already in existence. And so when I met you and your team, to find out that you actually helped entrepreneurs grow their businesses, and I wasn't taught prior to. I attended an instructor course, which is why I'm so big on teaching now. I attended an instructor course, but I wasn't taught. It was kind of like I just got through the course. And then when I met, Jay, and he had me like traveling all around with him, and I'm like, oh my God, this man is really teaching me some stuff. And so
Yeah.
I appreciate, at first it seems tedious, but I
Uh-huh.
see
Uh-huh.
that as part of the Babcock team, we stand heads and shoulders above others because you actually do give back, because you actually require your instructors and your team to learn. And I appreciate that. Thank you for teaching us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So speaking of that, what is your why? Like, what's the reason behind you being? I'm assuming at one point you were a CPR instructor. Now you're the VP. When you wake up in the morning and you start answering your phones, what is your why? What's the reason behind what you do?
The reason is the American Heart mission. Our mission is their mission. We are submitted to them, and that is to offer quality instruction, saving lives. and doing it the right way, doing it with fidelity, doing it with integrity. And so everything that we do centers around that. Not just us doing it, but us enabling those that affiliate with us. We want everyone. It's an extension. It's a flow through. So we want that above all. We want that above all. Mm-hmm.
And I feel it and I appreciate it. So you mentioned the AHA's mission. Does Babcock have a mission separate from the AHA? Because AHA wants to cure heart disease. What is Babcock's mission? And then after your mission, like what's your vision? What do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
Oh my gosh. Our mission is, because again, we are entrepreneurial. We have an entrepreneurial bent. We really truly want to enable others. We want to give others the advantage. Every affiliate that comes under us, we want to empower them to go as far as they want to go, to be as great as they want to be. It's never been a competition since the inception. That's what I mean. The founder, that's what she always instilled. It's not even about the buck. I know, of course, we're not naive to know. We do know that money is a part of it, but that has never driven why we do what we do. We really do it because we want to give everyone who has the ability to, who has the capacity to learn. We want to give them the opportunity to expand themselves in this arena, because the need is so great. The need is really great. And a lot of people don't think so. A lot of people think it's kind of saturated. No, the need is very great. And if you want to be a part of that, we want to give you, again, like I said, that advantage. That's our mission. As far as our vision, we have a very our visionary. You mentioned Jay.
Yes.
He has a grand vision. He does. He wants, and the main thing he wants to do, he wants to not only fill the need in our area, but he actually seeks out areas that are underserved. Because that's something that if you really look do the environmental scan of classes and availability of trainings, if you're in one area like in Florida or metropolitan area, you may say, oh, there are a lot of instructors here. But what we have seen in our travels and in our research is that there are a lot of areas that are crying for services.
Yes.
And that is one of the big visions of Babcock is to meet the need. We don't say no. We say yes.
I can attest to that. Yes. It was one day after my surgery, actually a day of my surgery. I got home and Yolanda, she's also aligned with Babcock. She called and she said, there's a nurse who can't go to work tomorrow unless she has her ACLS and her BLS card. And I was like, well, can she take the heart code? Can she go online and do the blended? And I'll pull out my mannequins one day after surgery.
Yes. It's contagious, isn't it? It's contagious.
Even staying open during the pandemic, because I know we had our brick and mortar, we stayed open, and I know you all stayed open too.
We did
because
too.
At the end of the day, it's the way I look at it. It is my way of giving back to the community. I'm just not teaching CPR. I'm making sure that the nurses, the doctors, the CNAs are actually certified and trained properly so they can go out and render safe care the way they're supposed to, and also abide by the AHA, the American Heart Association standards.
And you do it so well. You do it so well.
All right. So, and we've already given out like a lot of, keys, differences between Babcock and some of the other training centers. Are there any differences that I've yet to mention?
I think we hit it, but I do want, I would like to lean in on one. And like I said, it is really to give the advantage. I think that's what sets us apart. Our training center is it's very structured, yes, and we have our processes and procedures, but we're very transparent in what we expect. But the goal is we will do everything. We go above and beyond to empower our affiliates. It's not a competition. And we get stories. We do get feedback sometimes from people. Why are you teaching that? You're training your competition. No, that's not how we see it. We see it as we are empowered. We have a certain degree of expertise in this field, and it's a shame if we don't share it. That's we have to do. That's our mandate, and that's how we see it. And I think that's what sets us apart. That's what sets us apart from a lot of other training centers.
When I was sharing this, the the thumbnail, the art that I created for this particular meeting online, I shared a separate post, and that separate post said, collaboration is not a competition.
I
Because
love that.
when I was online and people were contacting me saying they needed assistance, they had completed instructor courses with XYZ training center, but they didn't know what to do. I didn't care what training center they were a part of. What I saw was me going back 10, 11, 12 years ago when I was with a training center and I was improperly trained. And so
Right.
I sometimes get those same questions. It's like, why are you trying to competition? I'm like,
Yeah.
we're not competition. We're kind of all in this together.
Together.
Yes, all of this together is not competition. It's just about mindset. And so, if me teaching somebody else is going to take away from my table, I've never had that poverty mindset and I won't have it now. And I appreciate the fact that Babcock doesn't have it either, because if you had, you wouldn't let a little nurse like me grow. So, I appreciate you.
Oh, and you're going higher, honey. We got plans for you.
Hallelujah. All right. And so we talked about your role in organization.
Uh-huh.
What are you, when you say that you're offering courses, that you're training people, can you go into more detail?
Some of the additional courses for entrepreneurs, you mean? Or
Outside of American Heart Association, as far as instructor development is concerned.
if okay, as far as okay. So the business acceleration courses, is that where we want to go to that part? Or
Yes. Yes.
okay, okay. So yeah, so let me tell you why okay, so what Eunice is mentioning is so when we teach instructor courses, what we found was that it prepares it well, it credentials instructors to teach
Mhm.
is what we find. Um, and that part our instructors can do with their eyes closed. They can teach the class. They know the science. But what we did find a big void in the business end of it. And because that's a different skill set. That's a whole
Yes.
different category of knowledge that you need in order to actually run a business. So people come in and because it's an entrepreneurial training training center, you can now have your own business. But if you don't know how to do that, you're just destined to fail. You're gonna fail. So what we did is we created. I In addition to what I do with Babcock, I also have an additional background in business and quality assurance processes and procedures, research. I've done a whole lot. So what we decided to do, I approached our visionary and said, "Listen, we need to fill a gap here. There's a void. Um, we want people to succeed in this venture." So we developed some classes, a series of classes: business formation, business acceleration. We do one on AI. We do one on government contracting. All
Just
those
in
that
case someone doesn't understand what AI stands for, could you please
Yeah,
tell us what it means?
sure. AI, artificial intelligence. That whole the whole technology, all the new technology around artificial intelligence and leveraging it in different arenas, different industries. So in the business formation masterclass, we go through all those things: the registration, legal entity, and everything. So one thing that I did notice was, as I'm talking with the participants of that class, I always ask them what it is they need and what's giving them pause when they are developing their business. And of course, when all the artificial intelligence technology started coming out, it was just bombarding the Facebook, bombarding everything. And people had questions. So I actually started, doing some research on it and prepare them for, what does that look like? What's going on in that class, and what's going on in that industry. So that class actually covers what artificial intelligence is and how you can leverage it for your own business. And in several different ways, like administrative tasks, customer service, social media, branding, and content creation. All those nuts and bolts of business. If you incorporate AI into it, it can save you so much time. Save you
Yes. And
so much time. Mm-hmm.
yes, may I pause you for a moment?
Mm-hmm.
If I would have known if someone would have told me, fast forward, I've been in business now for 15 years, and this is my 15th year anniversary. So August, yay, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. If somebody would have told me that I'd have to be on every social media site, I've been making videos on YouTube. Pretty much you have to be everywhere your customers are, and that includes also being international. And so when you mentioned how I call it automating systems, we have to use
Yes.
automation with small business owners. And so the fact that you're actually teaching them this in this business development masterclass is so important because it's something that I have learned over years where if they just spend time with you, they can learn this. Is it a 2-day course, a 1-day course? How do you facilitate the classes, and are they online?
I facilitate the classes. The initial class is online. It's an hour. It's an intro, right? And then from there, now, if you want more in-depth, if you want more hands-on, if you want more step-by-step, then we can go deeper. So that's how we kind of do that. It is online. You can actually register for it through our website, Babcock Health hyphen. See, I have to write it down.com.
And I'll make sure that I put that in the link.
Put it in the link.
In the video. So I'll make sure. Yeah, you have to know how to edit videos. It is so much to being a CPR instructor.
It is.
So after you learn the American Heart Association policies and procedures, and after you build up, a market, you figure out who your market is. After you, decide if you're going to be mobile or if you're going to have a brick and mortar location or if you're going to do all of the above,
then you got to do it.
To learn how to market.
Then you got to learn how to do it. Yes.
Yes. And I think you may have mentioned, either I saw it in one of your posts or you may have mentioned it a few minutes ago. Tell me about working with the government and how you can assist people.
Oh, absolutely. So I told you that, I've worn many hats in the past or concurrently, I should say, because I've been in with Babcock consistently. But in addition to that, I've done other things. I'm a certified federal grant writer, grant manager. So I've always worked with the federal government in grant acquisition for various entities. With the CPR business is no different. There are opportunities for you to gain government contracts, to doing just what you do, teaching your classes. You just have to get set up for it. You have to make sure your business is organized accordingly. There are certain certifications you have to have. And then there's a bidding process in writing proposals, all those technical things that I've done. And I've helped some of our actual affiliates do it very well. So that is something that, again, like I said, our mission is always to give everyone the advantage. So any of our affiliates who wants to take advantage of that knowledge can take that course with us, and we're happy to help you with that.
Yeah, that's awesome. What I want to, and I know you probably teach this, but for those who are like, yes, I want to reach out to Neysa, I'm going to reach out to her. I'm going to email her. I'll make sure I have all the contact information in the description area. But let's talk about, because when I have people who come to me and they're like, hey, I want to scale my CPR business, and I ask questions such as, who answers your phone calls? Who's on your team? And so before you actually reach out to Neysa to say, hey, I want a government contract, if you cannot fulfill the obligations of that contract, allow her to work with you so you can develop your team, because what we don't want to do is have you out there prematurely. And so that's Nurse Eunice's little tidbit, because I do see a lot of those, RFPs and everything that's out there, but they may want you to service the whole state. And
absolutely.
You don't have the equipment or the manpower to do that. But what I can say is when I didn't have the equipment nor the manpower, I simply reached out to Babcock, because we are not competitors, we are teammates, and they reach out to other instructors to make sure that we can get whatever we needed accomplished so that we can service the customers and get the CPR training that they need. So again, thank you.
That is so valuable. And you did bring up a great point, that capacity building of your organization. That is essential. And that is a part that a lot of people overlook, not just in the CPR training business, but in business overall. They get some credential and say, okay, let's jump on and do it. But no, for every contract that you win, for every contract you're going to have to fulfill it. You're going to have to be able to do it. And so we spend a lot of time with that. If you work with me and I do some, digging, and if I see, or just by, I can ask the questions and see where you are, and I can see that you're just not right there yet, then we're gonna stop. We're gonna back up. Because like Eunice said, we're not gonna throw you to the wolves like that, right? We want you to succeed, but we want you to be ready for it. So that's a great point, Eunice. Mm-hmm.
When you say entrepreneurial, what if I am retiring? I'm on a, I don't have that much money. How much does it take to really start a CPR training business? If I just want to do it, from the house, just, getting my toes wet, not trying to go all in. I know, right?
Oh no, I
You
know
know,
it's that much. Okay, if you just want to start, oh gosh, it's just a matter of getting your first set of mannequins. I haven't priced them in a while, but you Google and get the prices on there. $1,000. I'll say $1,000. You can, if go for it and get your mannequin set up. Um, yeah, it
I'm,
is.
I'm
It
gonna
really
say, I'm gonna say at least 1,500 to two
at least
thousand because they have
15.
to pay for
Let's go.
the course too.
Yeah, they got to pay for the
Yes.
course as well. Yeah, yeah,
And for those who are like, well, wow, that's expensive. You want to look at this as having a franchise, even though you're not independent. We all are. We're affiliated, or we're kind of, what's the best term? Call it like a hierarchy. So we're underneath Babcock, but you're kind of responsible. Once you've been trained properly, you're responsible for managing, marketing, and growing your business. What other business can you start for $2,000 that gives you flexibility and gives you
absolutely.
the opportunity to scale? So that's how I look at it. I think you're worth the investment. And I know for me, because I know how many people I had trained in other industries before I became an American Heart Association instructor. For me, it was just a no-brainer. I spent the money, and the goal was to make it back within a few months, and I was able to do that. So whenever you're working with Neysa, especially if you're just starting off, that's a question that, whenever you're making your budget, you want to
Yeah,
find your break-even point. At what point will you be able to make back the money that you invested in becoming a CPR instructor? And then everything after that is profit, because if you buy
yeah,
the right mannequins, you have your materials, you're not going to have to replace that too often.
absolutely.
All right, so Neysa, it's been so great talking with you. I do have two final questions. And the last
Okay.
question is, what advice do you have for an instructor who might be aligned with another training center, but does not feel as if they're getting the service or the training they need?
Good question. Good question. So, what we say to all of our instructors, pending or whatever, it is your choice who you work with, right? It is your choice. Um, look around. First of all, be solid on what you want. Start there. Be solid on what you want. What's your vision for your company? Um, and if that training center isn't meeting that, come talk to us. Maybe we'll meet it. Maybe we won't. We most likely will, though. We most likely will.
All right. And then one of the last questions is, because I know I get people who call, they want to join the team, but they may be in a transition period to where their current instructor card or credential is still active, and
Mm-hmm.
they'll call and say, "Hey, I want to transfer." And kind of like what you said, what are your needs? What do you want? But my next question is kind of like the teamwork. If you could choose the characteristics of an instructor who's going to align with Babcock, what would those characteristics be?
Willing to learn is one of them, because like you probably, I hope you've gotten from this session, is we do a lot of teaching, a lot of educating, a lot of imparting. So if you're willing to learn, that's vital. Um, we would definitely like you to. So when you come up under somebody's mission, you got to know what it is, and it has to align with yours, right? So if you are one who doesn't mind giving, who doesn't mind sharing knowledge, who doesn't think that you are competing with your fellow affiliates, then come on, come aboard. We welcome you. We will, like I said, we will empower you. You can go as far as you want to go here. We don't limit our affiliates. We don't. If you can
Yes.
do it, we'll empower you to do it. But come with that
Yeah.
open, willing mindset to be to learn and be a part, and not competitive.
So, in closing, I just want to say, if I could leave some parting words, it's going to be give the grace that you would like to receive. And then, Neysa, thank you so much for joining us. You took time out of your day. You offer so much value. On top of it being the VP of operations, what are some of the courses again, so I can make sure I list them all out? We have the grant writing, a grant
Grant
assistance.
writing. Mm-hmm. Winning Government Contracts 101. We have Business Formation Masterclass for those just starting. Then we have Business Acceleration for those who've already started but want to scale. And the other one is AI Demystified Masterclass for accelerating and leveraging your CPR business using artificial intelligence.
You're definitely preparing us to take our CPR business into 2024. And
Let's
I'll make sure
go.
I put all of your contact information below, but tell us one time, what is your email address so I can make sure I write it out correctly?
Sure, you can reach me at njones@babcock-health.com.
All right, everybody. This is Eunice Mathis and Neysa Jones, the VP of Operations at Babcock Healthcare Education Services. Try saying that fast twice. But please like and subscribe to our channel. And then Neysa, if you give me your YouTube channel, I'll make sure I add that in the description area too, so they can follow you on YouTube.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Bye, everybody.